Well, I thought this game had a tough act to follow. Jimmy, we got a tough act to follow. But Auburn and Tennessee picking up where Kentucky just left off. A phenomenal game against Missouri. They hang on and win it. And now you got a team also, as they just said up there, desperate. Backs against the wall. Auburn taking on Jacoby Gillespie, Nate Ament, and the Tennessee Volunteers. Gillespie, a phenomenal season. Played a ton of minutes. First team All-SEC. Last night, Kevin Overton was fantastic. 22 points against Mississippi State. Made 6 threes. And during a 21-2 run, hit 4 of those 3. Last-second heroics, last-minute heroics, started by Otega Owe. And then the transfer from Florida, the national champion, Denzel Aberdeen, with .2 on the shot clock. Knocks down one as he got knocked around. They were able to survive and advance. They've won their first 2 games here at the SEC tournament. And waiting, chomp chomp, the Florida Gators tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time. This building will be bananas. You see the rest of our schedule with A&M and Oklahoma, Georgia and Ole Miss as we get set right now for Tennessee and Auburn. Vanderbilt will take on the winner. This is, of course, Jimmy Dykes, Alyssa Lang, and we are getting set for game 2. You think about desperate teams. Texas has lost. Missouri has lost. Auburn is on the clock.
They have been on the clock for the past month, talking about the Auburn Tigers. They're right on the cut line, so they're used to playing with pressure. They got it on today. I think with a win, they absolutely lock up an NCAA tournament berth. I think about the message Stephen Pearl told his guys coming in. When we played Tennessee in the regular season, we got punked.
Yes.
That's quoting Stephen Pearl. If I'm a player from Auburn and my coach tells me that, man, I come out desperate with a ton of energy and a lot of fight. And Tennessee better be on their A game today because Auburn's got a big focus.
Yeah, they got punked because they got out-rebounded 46-30. Big story around Tennessee has been the condition of Nate Ament. He is their all-everything freshman. And it was a real ugly-looking injury. Jimmy and I were at this game when Ament got rolled on by number 3 in red, Latrell Reitzel, and his leg got stuck right underneath him. He'd been dealing with the ankle knee issue, and it only was exacerbated by that play. You know, he tried to come back in that game, and he was unable to last more than a minute. And now they've worked on him, Alyssa, and what is his condition?
Yeah, Rick Barnes told me at shoot-around yesterday that he would be on a minutes restriction, but that restriction would be TBD. I just asked him moments ago what those minutes look like. He said, we're going to feel it out as this game goes on. Yesterday at that shoot-around, he was wearing a brace on that leg. It was more preventative than anything, I'm told, and Nate went through almost all of that nearly 2-hour practice, just was held out of a lot of that high-contact 5v5 at the end there, but it does look like he's going to start here on the floor for these Volunteers.
Yeah, that's a good story to at least see him back. He missed a couple of games, that right leg injury. He's been in and out of treatment 3 times a day. As one of the coaches, Greg Polinsky on Tennessee, said, it's like an NBA player trying to get better. Meantime, Jacoby Gillespie will be on the floor at 18 points a game. First team All-SEC, 5.6 assists, and he plays a ton of minutes. They are so reliant on him at point guard.
Yeah, his usage rate has gone way up, over 35% without Nate Ament, so that distribution is important with Nate Ament healthy. I'll say this about Nate Ament. We've seen other guys across the country opt out when they're not feeling 100%. That is not how Nate Ament is wired. He has fought the coaching staff to get back able to play today.
You know, in that first game, as Felix Okpara jumps it up and it is controlled by Auburn, Okpara didn't play in the game in which Stephen Pearl says, we got punked. Yep. Now they bring back one of their biggest guys, Overton. Seeing if he's still hot from last night. He missed everything.
Well, when Tennessee punks you, they do it on the glass, and they hammer the ball inside. And they're one of the best in the country, not just this league, in doing it.
They have a size advantage there with J.P. Estrella, and wide open is Nate Ament, and that's a breakdown on defense.
How do you lose a guy on the first possession that talented? I mean, just a simple flex cut along the baseline. Auburn runs it themselves, and they just got lost.
Over 17 a game for Ament, who is a lottery pick projection. That ball is blocked by Estrella.
So much size on the Tennessee front line. Akpara 7 foot. Estrella 6'11", Nate Ament 6'10".
Yeah, there's good hands, and that one is now a turnover against Tennessee and Ament. Sean Murphy working on Estrella. That's a big guy, and he throws up a little jump hook in the lane for 2.
He was tremendous yesterday, was Murphy, and he has been over the last month of the season, finally healthy. A lot of SEC experience with Keyshawn Murphy, formerly from Mississippi State.
15 points against his former team. A very emotional game for him. They try Estrella again. He gets double teamed. Gillespie.
One more.
Amen's got 3. What a start for Nate Amen. That leg looks good. He's got 5.
Yeah, pretty good start for Nate Amen. And I said one more because you had an okay shooter and then a terrific shooter tucked away in that corner with Amen.
Downhill drive block from behind, and that is something this front court for Tennessee will do. Estrella, Okpara, Amen.
Watch Nate Amen right here. He's just make this cut. A little bit of a late flex screen action by Gillespie to free up Nate Amen. A specific play call by Rick Barnes to make sure the freshman is engaged early. Man, that's a really pretty snap of the wrist. You've heard me talk about before, Ravi, all good shooters from the three-point line. The ball rotates about 3.5 times, and that's what Nate Amen does as well.
Amen scored 22 in the first meeting, but 12 of those were from the free throw line. He didn't have a great shooting night that night. Gillespie into the paint, and that ball nearly knocked away. He picks it up, fires, and knocks down a baseline fadeaway.
Gillespie has struggled shooting the three-point shot over the last 3 weeks, just right at 23%, but he's still very talented, making tough twos. He's got the lean back and create his own separation. And Gillespie was so emotional on senior night in Thompson Bowling last Saturday, a local kid that finally got the chance to represent Big Orange. Didn't play great against Vanderbilt, but he is a talent. First team All-SEC.
A former football player who had this big opportunity. In fact, he had a number of opportunities, but wanted to play for the Orange. Hall, hard drive, cut off. Kick, corner 3. A little too strong, and Auburn comes out ice cold here to start. To your point, Gillespie, 1 of his last 15 from 3. They try to get it down low as Boswell rushed his pass to Estrella. So Auburn beat Mississippi State by 18. They lost their second game last year with Dad as the man on the sideline, Bruce Pearl. Now it's Stephen Pearl's team, and it's been an up and down season. They got some incredible wins, and they got some really curious losses.
Well, their defense is what's been the issue for Auburn this year. They're a top 15 offense and a number 109 defense as we start SEC tournament for the Auburn Tigers.
John Pettiford is going to go and shoot 3 as Gillespie got into him. Pettiford is another one of these guys in the SEC. You think about Denzel, Aberdeen. Pettiford is another, the not necessarily natural point guards who've been thrust into the role of point guard. And it's often a difficult transition, Jimmy, for a guy that used to be a scorer to be the guy that's setting up everybody.
Yeah, because of that, a lot of teams, they try to get Pettiford playing for, like if you're Tennessee, make Pettiford play for us today. A few possessions, get him sped up, get him rattled a little bit, but he's a tough kid. And I think he determines the ceiling for Auburn in this game and whatever their lifeline is left for the month of March.
Boogie Flan's another one of those guys. Came out of high school, went to Calipari. He was supposed to be a scoring guard. Now he's the point guard, obviously, for a Gator team that's poised to make a deep run here.
Last game, Denzel Aberdeen. He's had to make that transition on the fly this year. Tennessee's so good at getting the ball in the paint. They don't settle for easy, quick threes.
They got a mismatch, and Estrella was wide open. Murphy did recover to get back there in time on defense. Amen testing that leg right away with a fadeaway that's way off to the left.
Good strong defense by Keyshawn Hall, wide base.
Overton dumps it off. Okpara had the block, but we got a whistle underneath.
Okpara, SEC all-defensive team. And he protects that rim as well as anyone in this league. Now, Ruben Chinyelu is the defensive player of the year because he protects the entire half court. But Okpara is right there with him in terms of ball screen coverage. You can switch out and take on a guard 1 through 5. A key defensive piece for Rick Barnes.
Jimmy, they called that foul, and in watching the replay, I didn't seem to see it, but I think they called that foul, right? They did on Gillespie, who's got 2. They may be as dependent on Gillespie as a point guard as any team in the SEC, and Rick Barnes may want them to look at it.
Yeah, that's the conversation for sure.
Because I didn't see any contact from Gillespie. The whistle hasn't blown yet, Jimmy. It's here. And that's Akpara, not Gillespie.
Or is it Gillespie? The second reach right here. Yeah, right there. I think it was Gillespie. I think it's his left arm, Ravi, is what they saw.
It's a very big call here for Joe Lindsey and Chuck Jones.
Initially, Gillespie did a great job of showing his hands and playing with his chest. Is it this reach right there? Yeah, Gillespie's elbow. We haven't got an official word.
We'll take a quick timeout here, Jimmy. We're on the floor. It is 7-6 Tennessee. And a critical call when you come back. Is it 2 on Gillespie? Well, Jimmy, it sticks with the Gillespie here, and that's his second.
Well, right there's the call on Gillespie's elbow as that ball goes up. And so why is that foul call so critical? Well, Gillespie, first team All-SEC guard, the primary ball handler and scoring weapon. He starts possessions for Tennessee, and he finishes possessions for Tennessee.
Jimmy, he has played 10 straight games.
After review, the foul on 0 has been confirmed.
With 34 minutes. They have been very thin in their backup point guard position, which is why he gets all those minutes. And they are prone to turnovers when he's not on the floor.
They are, and sometimes even when he's on the floor. He averaged 37 minutes per game in SEC play. So now kind of uncharted territory for Tennessee to work through the rest of this half.
So Amari Evans, who rolled his ankle last weekend against Vanderbilt, had 24 when he got a lot of minutes with the absence of Amen. So he's going to get more minutes today.
Ravi, I say that because Rick Barnes is kind of old school. I think he has a 2-foul participation rate of about 9%. He doesn't play guys with 2 very often at all.
Estrella down low. Oh, pretty pass. That was blown up at the rim there as Akpara went in for the dunk. And how about the defense by Auburn?
Yeah, just the alertness and the quickness to the ball, the recovery speed of Auburn. Not easy to do against Akpara.
Williams Adams was there to just blow it up. Size advantage from Murphy. Good pass. That's a block by Ament.
So hard, man. He is legitimate 6'11" and long. Nate Ament.
Wingspan with 747 out there.
Auburn has good individual offensive players. 7 in blue is one of them.
Keyshawn Hall, and he finds the other Keyshawn. Now it's back to Hall. That looked good as soon as he let it go.
If you're Auburn, that is a great, not good, that is a great sign, because that guy can go for 25 or 30 if he gets off and sees a good rimmer.
Had a big second half yesterday. 11 of his 14 points came in the second half.
Led the Big 12 in scoring last year. I mean, he's a legitimate 20-point guy at any time.
For a guy that's playing on a bad leg, they're relying on Nate Ament one-on-one offensively a lot, and there's no indication that the leg is compromised in any way.
Yeah, if you're good enough to play, you're good enough to go. And look at this effort play by Williams Adams, who's Auburn's best defender as a true freshman. Now, that's not always a good thing if a true freshman is your best guy, but man, Williams Adams, 6'8", out of Houston, Texas, with a 7'2" wingspan. He got a tremendous future, especially on the defensive end.
Akpara goes to the bench. Ament continues to play with 14:45 in half number 1. Kentucky already a winner today over Missouri. Game 2 of 4 on day 2 of the SEC basketball men's tournament.
I gave Rick Barnes more credit than he deserves. He has a 5% 2-foul participation rate, not 9, 5%.
It's even lower. Ament missed a bunny at the basket. Pettiford, who picked up his first foul, fires and drains a 3.
Auburn has guys guys, if they make one, they get really hungry. Pettiford, Hall, Overton, those guys get really hungry for their own. Does Tennessee have enough offense without Gillespie is the big question right now in this game.
Tennessee started 3 of 3. Since then, they've gone 0 of 5. Looks like Ethan Berg is getting set to check in for the Volunteers. And again, Jacoby Gillespie to the bench as Jalen Carey gets it down low. And they're going to get a call either on Murphy or Pettiford. And they're calling on Pettiford. That's his second.
Well, look at Auburn. Pettiford just very casually brings that ball up. And does he have the foot discipline to drop back? Oh, man. You can see the line, can't you, Ravi? I think that's a 3, as close as it was. Good job by Pettiford to drag that left foot back.
Yeah, Joe Lindsay just came in and changed the call. It's not on Pettiford. Instead, it's going to be, yes, it is on Pettiford, because he came in with 3 fingers up, indicating it was going to be on Murphy, but they keep it with Pettiford.
If you're Auburn, surround Tennessee when that ball goes inside. We saw it work to perfection when they won at Florida. They didn't come outside the 3-point line. Multiple bodies inside the 2-point part.
Dwayne Brown gets called for an offensive foul. I think when Gillespie's off the floor, is it fair to say they're just a little discombobulated? Their floor leader is not there.
A little disjointed. It's hard for them to get in an offensive rhythm. But this is a no excuse, I don't feel sorry for your league. And Auburn's got what they got right now. Some good things working for them.
Strong, man. He's having a good start. Sebastian Williams-Adams.
One thing about Stephen Pearl, he keeps his offense simple and gets a lot of one-on-one isolation plays. If you can't guard the ball against Auburn, you are in trouble.
12-0 run as Berg has it. Player that comes from Israel. And again, trapped out there. Not a lot of movement. 10 on the shot clock. Boswell. That's off, and it comes back to him.
Right, Tennessee has not played with a handful of possessions probably with this group on the floor right now. And where's the offense come from?
Carey. No. That one does go through.
Well, that's part of why he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. Top 6, I think, coming in 17% is what he gets, because he also will miss some, but so good on the second jump in the recovery.
Good hands to deflect it away. Berg was grabbed. That's going to be a foul on Overton. And just let's make sure we get it all correct. So Lindsay did come in and say the foul that we had earlier was on Murphy. They kept it on Pettiford for a while. They've now changed it. Todd Pettiford's got 1 and Murphy has 1.
And how about this?
Yes.
Rick Barnes.
9% guy.
Yep, 5%. We correct. 5% comes back with Gillespie knowing I've got to get offense. And can you trust Jacoby Gillespie to play with 2 fouls under control? Man, if you're Auburn, I go right at Gillespie a couple of possessions.
He could see the ball kind of stuck out there with no Gillespie on the floor.
It's interesting, like a guy like Todd Golden, analytically, he'll play a guy sometimes like 53% of the time or higher with 2 fouls in the first half.
There are certainly some analytics which tell you that you should do that. Play that. Players are aware enough not to get that 3rd foul.
Well, this call is not analytically driven by Rick Barnes. No. It's gutlytics. Tells him I got to have my best guys on the floor.
And maybe necessity driven. Overton kick, 3 ball on the way. Too strong, and then when it's strong, you're going to see offensive rebounds.
It's an Auburn team that's more than capable. They got the best win in this league right now at Florida. Also took down the Big East champion St. John's.
Overton, quick release. He knocks down a 3, and they've got a couple of 3s to start this game.
But because Tennessee's struggling to guard the ball, they're grabbing a piece of that paint and spraying it around, talking about Auburn.
Their shooting percentage beginning to go way up here. Evans, the ball fake, the drive, and a nice little jumper on the baseline.
Well, Amari Evans has grown up this year in front of our eyes. 24 points on Saturday in the loss of Vanderbilt. The kind of the future culture guy for Rick Barnes in terms of toughness, accountability, all the things that Barnes values.
Yeah, Brown's going to get the call. Jovic went right by him, and he couldn't stay in front of him. Good start for the Tigers here, Jimmy, up by 6 early.
If you can't stay in front of Auburn, you are battling uphill. And Auburn right now doing a good job. Multiple guys winning their one-on-one battle. grabbing a piece of the paint, spraying that thing out. This is an Auburn team again. Top 20 in offense. They can get on a roll. They can get hungry from individual positions. Keyshawn Hall, one of the main guys.
17-11 just underway. The big story has shifted from Nate Amen's injury to Jacoby Gillespie's foul trouble. Here's Alyssa.
Here with Tennessee head coach Rick Barnes. Coach, what do you tell Jacoby with 2 early fouls when you put him back in the game?
Well, he's got to be a lot smarter than he was on the first 2 fouls. I mean, fouling a 3-point shooter, it's ridiculous, and then reaching there at the end, and he's going to have to. We need him to play, obviously, but we more than anything, we need to make some shots around the rim, and we got to guard a little bit better.
Thank you, Coach.
I think an appropriate use of the word ridiculous.
Yeah, we're very well done to work that in. Hey, think about this. There's 365 Division I head coaches. Rick Barnes, in terms of playing a guy with 2 fouls, ranks number 351. So he's forced to do it right now because of the ridiculous foul by Gillespie, but he knows I need his offense, I need his ball handling, trusting Gillespie to handle major minutes right now in this first half with 2 fouls.
So you're saying the future Hall of Famer is out of his comfort zone right now?
Yes, it's hard to get him out of his comfort zone, but maybe a little bit.
Freeman into the game for Auburn.
Well, you got to guard yours against the Tigers.
Yeah, Hall steps into a 3. That's off. This is arguably the best rebounding team in the country, and of course this is a conference that Florida plays in, but Tennessee does a great job on both ends. Carey is just so big, and he throws one up and in.
They just...
Jalen Carey, 6'8", 267.
They jackhammer the ball inside Tennessee. Some teams can throw it in there when they want to. Some teams throw it in there when they need to. Tennessee can do it both.
Downhill, throws it up with that left. That's no good. But that was a high elbow there, huh? That sent Gillespie to the floor. They didn't call it against Mushela. Jovic backs in. That's a hard guy to back in, man. Out of bounds, it'll stay with good hustle from Auburn.
Michalek is such a hustler. 3rd year at Auburn as a walk-on. But comes in and just moves the ball, disrupts people, guarding Gillespie right now. And Gillespie better be careful. This kid's very quick and crafty and tough in terms of drawing charges. And that, oh gosh, yeah, Michalek, walk on or not, clears out space.
That's no good. The defensive intensity has forced Auburn into some bad shots.
Yeah, 2 hands on the dribble is an automatic. Jovic guilty as charged. I mean, one thing about Auburn, they average right at 25 shots per game at the rim. Probably leads the SEC. They put so much pressure on you, does Stephen Pearl's team. They've done it year after year. Mike Burgomaster, the offensive coordinator, you'll see standing up with play calls, and 9 out of 10 of them are designed to go inside.
Clark quickly double team. They get it to Carey. He finds Amen's. Look out.
Good interior passing. I mean, tight passing. Both those passes were within 6 or 7 feet. And Auburn trying to send bodies at Tennessee, but the bodies aren't big enough.
Auburn has missed their last 4 shots. And as we've watched Tennessee the course of this year, you can see Nate Amen more and more comfortable and confident. The switch leaves a man open for a corner 3. That's an air ball from Freeman, and out of bounds it goes. Boy, they left Freeman wide open.
Well, the strength of Tennessee is in the painted area. This time it's the unpainted area, this floor. But look at this passes, boom to boom. And you got double team to a double team. Eventually, man, the 3rd guy is going to be wide open. Nate Amen doing a good job of kind of getting his backside to the baseline, being a big target. They know who they are under Rick Barnes, year after year.
And when you go to Tennessee, you know what you're in for, which is you're going to be coached really hard. Amen, his great parents wanted just that. Carey missed their first miss in their last 4 shots. And out of bounds off Tennessee.
Yeah, Nate Amen could have gone anywhere in the country.
Yep.
And Nate Ament chose a hard path his freshman year, knowing the success of Rick Barnes, developing guys, going to be hard coaching, tough coaching. To your point, that Nate Ament camp, family, handlers, all that, they have been 100% behind Rick Barnes the entire year. That's not the norm these days, unfortunately.
Freeman misses another one as Auburn continues to struggle from the floor with their shots.
Well, they are jumping that ball screen of Gillespie, not letting him turn the corner at all.
Felix Okpara, high arcing shot, no good. Don't you sense, Jimmy, that some of the great freshmen in the country, they have that in common? They want to be coached hard. Like Acuff is another guy that, when you think about Calipari, he's not going to nurse you.
I mean, Acuff came in to the tournament right now. They play tomorrow with a little bit of a sore ankle, but you could not keep Acuff or Ament out of this tournament. They're just wired different.
Pettiford was ready to line up a three. Instead, he fires up a two that doesn't drop.
I think Gillespie, had he not had 2 fouls, would have attacked that.
Yeah, I hear your
numbers, but wise decision to not put himself in harm's way.
It's been a minute since we've seen a ball go through the basket, and Pettiford does so with a right hand. A hard-driving, left-hand dominant Pettiford goes to the right.
But Ravi, small guards are crafty and creative. They've been smaller their entire life. They know how to get shots off in traffic against Link, and Pettiford, a great description of that.
Good cut, Gillespie. Contact there. They do a late whistle, and you can see the reaction from the Auburn bench. As Joe Lindsey maybe hesitated a second to finally blow it. There was absolute contact, and it's going to be Gillespie who's going to shoot a couple. Stephen Pearl still got a curious look in his eye and a conversation with Lindsey as we go to break here. It feels like Nate Ament has answered the question. Right leg okay? Check. Good start for him. Ament's got 7 to lead the way for the Vols. On the other side, Pettiford. He leads the way for the Tigers with 8. Jimmy, Alyssa, and I back with more of the first half.
Here with Auburn head coach Stephen Pearl. Coach, you have a 5-point lead right now. What do you like about the start from your group?
Our guys are doing a good job defensively of just flying around and really loading to the ball, making multiple efforts, and we're doing a good job of checking them out so far and keeping them off the offensive glass.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, defense on both sides has led to rough shooting for both teams. 13 right now for 38 combined. Joe Lenardi's bracketology, it's sort of must-see check-in every couple of minutes. Texas, the last 4 in, and they're not on the bottom of that. The first 4 out. Auburn and Oklahoma has climbed into the conversation. They'll be on the floor tonight. Porter Moser got a nice win last night. So Auburn and Oklahoma on the clock. We've seen Texas lose, and the Longhorns have lost 5 of their last 6, not the way Sean Miller wanted to go into Selection Sunday. Gillespie's free throw is good. 50th, 150 and 100 career start for Jacoby Gillespie.
Ravi, look at Auburn's resume compared to those other guys they're stacked up with right now. They beat the Big East champ St. John's. They've got a win over Arkansas. They won at Florida, the best win in this league. I think the resume, it might be good enough right now.
Oh, wow. Big collision at the rim with Pettiford and Gillespie.
Well, there are going to be some massive collisions at the rim in this league, and this is one of them. Gillespie with good anticipation. A good play on the ball by Pettiford. I think he went from point A to point B. I'm surprised that's not a foul.
There's been a coach's challenge by Auburn on the out-of-bounds call. Plays under review.
And no foul, Jimmy. Clean block.
Yeah, so they can't go and call a foul on the monitor in this situation, but terrific heart and toughness by Pettiford. Hey, to me, Pettiford, he wasn't going straight up. He was going from point A to point B. So to me, they missed this foul right there. That is contact all day long. It doesn't go called.
And you'll see when a hand of a defender comes down like Pettiford's did.
Yeah.
That made some contact as well, but no call there. And now Auburn and Stephen Pearl have challenged who that ball went out on. Gillespie had chances to go play football, Jimmy, at several Division I colleges as well.
You got a football offer, right, from Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech as a wide receiver and a cornerback defensively. A kick return specialist out of Greenville, Tennessee, one of my favorite places.
After review, the coach's challenge by Auburn is successful. It will be Auburn's ball. They will not be charged with timeout, and they will keep their challenge for the rest of the game.
And no whistle on Tahad Pettiford, so a terrific play to deny Gillespie the layup.
It was, but it should have been a foul on Pettiford.
I get it, but it wasn't called. So it turned out to be a terrific play. And the ball.
And a picture's worth 1,000 words, and that was it. Rick Barnes is letting Joe Lindsay, Vladimir Boyard-Tadal, and Chuck Jones, all three, hear about it right now.
Estrella, and that's a rip away from Gillespie. Good job as he came in to double on Murphy.
You waited till Murphy turned his head and then comes in with a rip.
Jimmy, you're exactly right. They are doubling every time Gillespie has the ball. 6'10", Ament down to the ground. He goes with a foul on Freeman.
Boy, Gillespie does a little bit of everything for this Tennessee team. High IQ defender. And Murphy turns his head. Look, his eyes are going this way, and that allows that defense to come in from behind. Boom, right there. Just no awareness at all. Good patience by Gillespie. Some guys can get sped up and play too fast defensively in that situation. Not Gillespie.
How does Tennessee get Nate Ament back involved in the offense?
Well, he's been a driver over the last 6 weeks. Gets to the foul line about 8 times a game now.
Estrella in that paint for a number of seconds. Boswell will shoot. That's way off to the right. And a good job to keep Dwayne Brown from going to get it by Keyshawn Murphy.
So what is Auburn doing? They're playing the same defense that won them the game at Florida. They're not getting outside that three-point line. They're staying contracted, putting bodies and loading to the ball. Stephen Pearl mentioned it to Alyssa. And that's exactly what you have to do against a physical team like Tennessee. So far, so good.
Pettiford leads the way with 8. Williams Adams second on the team with 4. Pettiford. Front iron and then off the backboard and into Tahad Pettiford with 11.
Just a tough shot. I don't think Kamari Evans should have switched off. Just trail that play by Pettiford. He got picked off and forced Estrella to come out with a late switch.
Point guard with the scorer's mentality. They've kept Gillespie under wraps as well.
Larry, look at the blue jerseys inside that three-point line.
Yeah, Evans hard take. He lays it in with his left.
How can you allow that when you're purposely loading the paint and loading to the ball? Breakdown by Auburn.
He is pulling up again. He's going to stay down here. Joe Lindsay's got the call against the Tennessee Volunteers.
Auburn runs good stuff. And look at Pettiford right here. Evans, boom, just gets picked off. Why run into that screen? You've got to caboose guys in that situation. Tag and trail, get on the outside shoulder so you're not picked off. Defensive mistake made by Evans. And Pettiford with a rise and fire 3.
Foul called against J.P. Estrella. Big guy on the ball right now out of Scarborough, Maine.
A good guy to put on the ball. He's got a 9'3" standing reach, right?
Makes him one of the better offensive rebounders in the country. Here he is on defense. They let that man go right by him, and Pettiford knocks in 2.
Tennessee struggled guarding the ball the first few minutes, and it has continued. And that is not good when you play Auburn, who is so good at one-on-one.
Overton's got 5 early points now. Jimmy, after the game, the SEC Now crew will have a complete breakdown of our game. We'll give you the highlights, the analysis, the interviews with the coaches and the players. We'll look ahead to the games tonight. sure they'll get into Arkansas and Alabama and Vanderbilt and Florida, the teams that have yet to play. They all make their debut on Friday as we are on day 2 here, and a development on the end of the Auburn bench. Keyshawn Murphy is rolling down that sock on that left leg of his, and training staff is over there looking at his leg. 18 points, 4:25 to go. Jalen Carey finds Evans, who can't make it. And that loose ball hit the ground, which is rare on an offensive rebound. Pettiford's feeling it. Fires, no good. And a long rebound to Auburn. Auburn's got 6 offensive rebounds, Tennessee 3. You don't see many games in which Tennessee loses that battle. There's another 2 for Overton.
Ravi, win the elbow, you win the possession. Good things happen to you offensively when you get the ball to that spot. You can drive through the elbow, you can pull up for those elbow jump shots. Stephen Pearl doing a masterful job of keeping his offense spread, making Tennessee guard in space.
Amen. That's short, and another easy rebound for Auburn.
Remember, he told his team, you got punked. Stephen Pearl did the last time we played these guys. Not so far in this game. Holding their own on the glass, winning those 50-50 balls.
Under 4, hard drive, and a difficult pass to catch, but he does. Pettiford has got 10. He's got amen on him. Drive, ball fake, fade away, finds the bottom.
I tell you, small guards just know how to create space. And that big stride stop by Pettiford to break off the pressure and the length of amen. The Auburn Tigers know we are probably 1 win away from locking up an NCAA tournament berth. They got a long ways to go. But man, have they played well. Pettiford, the lead guard, the 6'1" sophomore. Small guys are crafty. They've understood their entire life how to get themselves open. The dribble dance, the stride step, and the step back pressure, rise and release from Pettiford.
What's up, y'all? Coming up on the Academy Sports and Outdoors halftime report, we'll show you how Big Blue Nation survives an advanced preview of the evening session. Slay, what are you seeing in this one so far?
I'm looking at it, I'm saying it was a personal matchup. Physicality was going to be a key for Auburn, and they're going out and doing that, especially in the second chance points and offensive rebounds.
Hey, Jimmy, as a committee member, how do you balance strength of schedule versus overall wins when you're picking your teams?
Yeah, Fish, that's a great question. I think that's the big part of the conversation in that selection committee room right now. And I don't think it has to be either or. I think you can judge both and say they're deserving of being in. Most likely you're talking about Miami of Ohio with 31 wins, although they lost today. It's going to be so difficult, I think, to argue them out. And they beat everybody on their schedule and how they did it. The MAC is a very good league. It's not the SEC, but it's very good. And if you're Auburn, you cannot ignore the fact they played one of the top 2 or 3 strength of schedules in the country. And their wins, I've already talked about, beat St. John's. They won at Florida. Arkansas, Stephen Pearl's got an argument, but you can end the argument with a win today, I think.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I don't see how Miami of Ohio doesn't get in.
I agree.
Stephen Pearl, man, they have held Tennessee to 18. Remember, Tennessee's coming off a game in which they scored 22 in the first half against Vanderbilt. It's currently an offensively challenged team, and there's a bad pass there from Pettiford.
You guys saw a few minutes ago Keyshawn Murphy being worked on the end of the bench. They put a lidocaine patch on his shin. They gave him some painkillers. He had been kicked in the shin, is what I'm told. He was just working out on the bike a few moments ago, trying to get that leg ready.
The old lidocaine patch. Patch him up and get back in. Auburn up 5 on the glass is a big deal in this game because they got punked in the first game. Not today.
They're very quick on defense to cover as Amen knocks down a corner 3, and they needed that.
But a seal off on the inside by Jalen Carey kept that defender from getting out to the corner.
Dave Amen has played 14 minutes in this game.
That was a seal assist by Carey.
There's a loose ball on the floor. Pettiford was the first guy to get there. And Stephen Pearl is saying it's going the other way, and it's not. It's going to be Tennessee basketball.
Well, Nate Mintz tucked away in this left corner, but Jalen Carey on the inside. Actually, maybe talk Parr. Right here, look at this. Just sealing off, keeping that defender from getting out to recover. And a good quick ball reversal by Gillespie. That's Felix Okpara, not Carey, excuse me. Bam, really well done. A screen assist in the Tennessee system.
Ament's into double figures with 10. He's knocked down both of his three-point field goal attempts. And Rick Barnes to gamble by having Gillespie come back on the floor and playing this first half with 2 fouls. Still with 2. Carey squeezes that basketball like it's an orange. Gillespie pulls up, and then he throws it as high as anybody on his shots. Out of bounds off Okpara.
Well, I love Auburn's tenacity and determination on the glass right now. That shot went, and before the ball was released, you saw 5 blue jerseys fighting their backside off to get into position. Good rebounding teams don't wait for the release. They fight on the rise up.
Pettiford, that's blocked there. Ament's got a couple of blocks here in the first half. They reset with 10 on the shot clock. Pettiford, who's been in a groove with 13. One-on-one, fires. Oh, he banked it in, and it's all going to Todd Pettiford's way.
If you're Tennessee, you say, hey, okay, pat him on the backside. It went your way. He shot it bad enough that it went in. Okpara switched out. Tennessee not afraid to switch 5-on-1.
That's going to be a, yes, they did call the foul. I thought he called it a kick, and I think the foul was called a kick on Jovic.
Well, Pettiford gets the switch up top, and this is the classic 5-on-1. Okpara does a good job of not fouling, keeping his feet on the floor, and Pettiford just banks one in off the glass. A 27% three-point shooter in conference play, Pettiford.
But very capable, isn't he? We've seen the Todd Pettiford where he just sees a massive rim. Gillespie missed that badly, but he picked up his own rebound on the free throw. That pass, ball on the floor. Okpara's down there to get it. It's going to be Tennessee basketball on the tie-up.
That possession was an absolute mess for Tennessee offensively. I mean, multiple guys having a hard time hanging on to it. Feels like a big 46 seconds right now in this game for Tennessee to try to go in down only single digits.
Pettiford out of the Bronx, New York. He's got a little bit of that Bronx swagger going right now in this first half with 16 points.
It's typically Gillespie time. Out of bounds under.
Instead, it's Okpara contested, but he will get the friendly roll here at the arena.
Ravi, the play call was for Gillespie, but the play showed it's Okpara. A good job of recognition by Bishop Boswell. Back-to-back first halves for Tennessee to not get above 25.
Currently, he's right. About a 9-second differentiation between the shot clock and the game clock. They get 7 on the shot. Hand off to Overton. Drives to his left. Up. Too strong. And they got 8 seconds now with Gillespie in the basketball. Ament rises, finds Carey down low. He will get 2 free throws.
What a pass by Nate Ament. He's going away from the rim, but that's where that 6'11" wingspan comes into play. He can make plays over the top of you when he's covered up, because he is absolutely covered up. And Jalen Carey doesn't chase the ball, Ravi. Good discipline to stay away from the ball on the backside of the rim, trusting Nate Ament to make the right read in the right play.
Carey has not been a great free throw shooter, but he knocks that one down just about 50%.
The name sounds familiar. His brother Vernon Carey.
Yes.
All-American at Duke back in 2020. Built like a SEC defensive end.
Started his college basketball career, and he played at Vanderbilt, so he's familiar with the national area. He gets the roll there. 25 points for Tennessee. 7-point game, 1 second to go. Pettiford fires. The way it's been going for him. Figured that had a 50-50 chance of going in.
A really good half for Auburn, but I talked about it about 90 seconds ago. Can Tennessee get this thing down to single digits? Well, check that. Yes, they have not played well, but they're in the game. I love the fight back by Auburn, especially on the glass in this first half. They're up 21-15.
Alyssa.
So what are you going to tell Tahan at halftime to keep up that first half performance?
Just keep baking in threes, you know. No, he did a good job. Played physically, didn't let their ball pressure pressure bother him. So he did a good job. Our guys did a good job setting screens. He just got to continue to play with freedom offensively without his turnovers.
How have you seen your defense effectively guard Nate Ament and their bigs?
We've just done a good job of guarding him without fouling. In the first game, they went to the foul line 30 times, and we had too many silly fouls. This game, done a better job of guarding without fouling and doing a good job of putting bodies on bodies and getting rebounds.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Let me tell you guys, I sit on the opposite side of the arena from the studio, and I can hear Ron Slay yelling for his volunteers all the way across Bridgestone. Peter Burns, take it away.
And Alyssa Lang, Damian Fishback, the former Auburn Tigers, he's getting the better part of that in that first half. Welcome to the Academy Sports and Outdoors halftime report. We go cross court as we saw Alyssa Lang, and over here to our little balcony. And gentlemen, 32-20.
The SEC Tournament 2026, where Florida is the heavy favorite. And right now, Tennessee Volunteers come back to the floor having scored 25 points. They're trailing Auburn 32-25. Nate Ament was a story coming into the game, given his physical condition. He has scored almost half their points. He's got 10.
Yeah, Rick Barnes went right with Nate Ament. A couple of first play calls. He's comes off that flex cut, then he knocked down a three. Nate Ament looks really good. The bother of the ankle is not factoring at all what he's doing offensively, but the answer for Auburn has been this sophomore guard, Tahad Pettiford, he can really get going. And once he does, he gets hungry and thirsty. It's isolation one-on-one play that you worry about when you play Auburn. And Tahad Pettiford is really good in those situations. And I'm very impressed, Ravi, with what Auburn has done in the first half. It's a 59 possession game is the pace that we're on, which favors Tennessee. Auburn has hung in there. They are up at 21-15 on the board. I know that's like, tell us something that's important. That is very important. Tennessee's the best rebounding team in the country, and Auburn has the lead. Tells you their mentality in this game.
Well, they've done a great job defensively. I mean, Gillespie's got 3 points so far. What did Rick Barnes have to say during the half, Alyssa?
Yeah, guys, I asked him about the physicality that he saw from Auburn in that first half. He said, I'm fine with that. We're used to that playing in the SEC. He said he challenged his guys to stop standing with the ball as long as they have. Pass it faster. We got to go side to side. I asked him what he says to players like Nate Ament and Jacoby Gillespie when they get double teamed. He said exactly that. Pass the ball faster. I've been telling them that all year, and they've been double teamed like that all year long. So something that was just a reminder at halftime for the second half.
Well, Tennessee's got 6 assists on 10 made baskets. On the other side, 4 assists on 11 made baskets for Auburn. But the way Pettiford has done, there's a lot of one-on-one action going on.
Yeah, Ravi, to drive the rebounding numbers home, Tennessee overall is a 45% offensive rebound rate team. That's the second best mark in the country over the past 25 seasons. Michigan State, 47% back in 2001. That's why rebounding is so important in this game. And Auburn, man, they have answered the bell so far.
Yeah, a little baseline drive there and a kick with 10 on the shot clock for Pettiford. And good hands by Estrella to blow it up. Auburn Freeman has it. That's going to be a foul and a chance for 4. Boswell with the foul on you-know-who. Tahad Pettiford.
Well, Bishop Boswell's coming out. Tennessee probably averages fouling a three-point shooter about 1.5 times per game. They just continue to fly out and lose their discipline defensively. Bishop Boswell, you have to go in front of that shooter in that situation, not right at him. And Bishop Boswell on a straight line path. Was not a lot of contact, but enough to drag the whistle into the game.
You mentioned being punked. Pettiford came into this game and he said, we're going to see who's the tougher team.
Yeah.
He took it personal the way they played that. And some of the comments that may have been made after that first meeting. And Pettiford is having a game, 19 points.
Well, Auburn over the years has prided their program in doing that to other teams. So this is not uncharted territory for Auburn either.
And Gillespie goes with the left and he drives it in there for 2.
It's so easy to say right now, Tennessee has to have a big second half offensively from Gillespie and Ament. Those are your 2 leading scorers. Those guys got to get on track and stay on track.
Pettiford threw up an alley-oop, and Estrella was just sort of back turned to it. Gets called for the foul, and Murphy, who clearly has recovered from that ankle injury, came down with a basketball. Jimmy Estrella had no idea this ball was coming.
Well, Estrella is in a little bit of drop coverage, trying to level that ball off. And Murphy does a good job of sneaking behind Estrella and a big target to throw to.
Jimmy, tonight right here on the network and the ESPN app, our next SEC Inside will get you an all-access pass to the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. That's at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Central. Never before seen footage. You'll hear sound from all the players, some coaches. It is a pull back the curtain behind-the-scenes look at the SEC Women's Tournament at 6.
Yeah, Texas got their first SEC tournament title under Vic Schaefer. Madison Booker and company, they're going to be a handful in that women's tournament coming up. I'm looking forward to working the first and second rounds. The SEC will be well represented, especially on that 1 seed line. Vanderbilt with Michaela Blakes is going to be a tough out.
UConn, UCLA.
Yeah, we keep talking about it. I'm not going to be shocked if UCLA doesn't end up the overall #1 seed based upon the number of quad 1 wins, regular season champs of the Big Ten, undefeated, much tougher strength of schedule, but we'll see that UConn brand is hard to overcome.
Estrella with the ball down low, and he goes jump hook. Well, that's his best offensive move.
No doubt it is, and it's unblockable because he has a 9'3" reach standing. Does a good job of shoulder separation, knocking the defense off.
Pettiford doing a lot of tricky dribbling around Bishop Boswell. Five on the shot clock. Okpara switches out onto Hall. He's going to have to fire over Okpara. That's no good, and we're going to get a foul right here, and it likely is going to be on Nate Ament. And it is.
It is uncommon for Tennessee to be this deep into a game and been being out rebounded now 22-17. But it just shows what Rick Barnes is up against today. Stephen Pearl laid the challenge to his guys coming into this one.
Critical game for the Auburn Tigers. Right there on the bracketology bubble. Pettiford, good ball fake and a fade that will also drop.
He is a flat-out baller to Hot Pettiford. Just a little ball fake up top, a little bit of a shake to get himself going downhill. Tennessee has not found the defensive answer for 0 in blue.
Pettiford's got 21 points. Estrella, boy, Murphy had a grab of that jersey and another jump hook.
That's typically the way Rick Barnes plays from behind. He doesn't come down and draw up threes. Continues to pound the thing inside.
One-on-one Hall. Murphy has it into the lane, into a bunch of Tennessee hands, and Ament with a late reach. But he's going to get whistled for the foul.
And there's no reason to reach that, Ravi. A short clock. You got the guy twisting around in the crowd, and you get bailed out in a bad Auburn possession. But back to the other end. Tennessee's going to play from behind. They're going to play through the post. And Estrella is so big and tough, and a finesse finish. He's got a little bit of Kevin McHale in him at times.
Yeah, and you bring up Kevin McHale. When you grow up in Maine, you're fans of those 80 Celtics. Your dad knows all about the 80 Celtics teams.
Yeah.
Which McHale was a part of. And if your son is that tall, you know, that's a good guy to emulate. He, of course, played in Maine at the same time that Cooper Flagg was playing in Maine. So those two butted heads a few times.
He probably grew up doing the McHale drill.
Without question.
A post drill that you shoot the ball from one side of the rim and you go get the rebound on the other side, but you're constantly keeping the ball high. The McHale drill was famous 15, 20 years ago.
Was there ever a Joe Klein drill?
No, there was not.
No? Your buddy Joe played for the Celtics, of course.
that would be a drill that involves just knocking people's block off as a screener.
One of our college basketball analysts.
Nice, right?
Very nice. No good. Estrella and Okpara were there, and instead it's Auburn who's got a 3-on-1. Pettiford. That is blocked. Follow no good. What a play by Bishop Boswell. My goodness. He's got it here. Gives it to Okpara, and there's a whistle on Auburn. Yes, give Bishop Boswell credit for busting his butt back on defense.
No one works harder in a hard-working program day after day than Bishop Boswell. And he absolutely makes a big-time play. He's behind the ball, but comes in and gets it up top. And then Estrella with the foot speed as well for the cleanup. Man, a massive 2-point save possibly going down the stretch by Bishop Boswell.
Akpara, 65% free throw shooter. He learned at the heels of Gillespie as he shoots that high arcing free throw that goes in.
Ravi, Tennessee has had an SEC all-defensive team member 7 straight years, and this year it's Felix Akpara that steps up and gets the recognition.
Down to 6. The Auburn lead.
You can't play with pressure, though, if you're Auburn. You know what's at stake. But stay in the moment.
Oh, one-on-one step back. Akpara deflected that. That's a block from Akpara.
And that's why he's SEC all-defensive team guy. I think the second best defender in this league behind Shenyulu.
Oh, that's a low pass, and Estrella could not handle it. It goes through his legs.
Tennessee has turned it over about 18% of the time in SEC play. 18 turnovers per 100 possessions. 16 out of 16 in this league. Only 4 today. That's a good, very good number for Big Orange.
Carey just stood his ground there on defense, and another miss inside the paint. Murphy, a high arcer over Akpara to go.
They are absolutely going body blow for body blow with Tennessee. It is a must.
Gillespie has it in traffic. His hesitation to put it up and in. That a technical foul may have been called against Jalen Carey of Tennessee.
Well, he was frustrated that entire possession. A lot of contact between he and Keyshawn Hall that went uncalled. And Jalen Carey, if it's on him, loses his discipline, because that's a tough bucket by Jacoby Gillespie. And just walk away right now, act like you've been here before for both teams. But watch Jacoby Gillespie. He's got a fight, man, to get this ball near the rim. He wins the collision, gets it to drop, and then Carey, after the bucket, gets a little too much going with his jaw. And the toss back of the ball gets stuck.
God, so you saw the technical foul. Watch Carey take the ball out of the basket and then just fire the ball at a guy who wasn't waiting for it, Keyshawn Hall. Here's another look right off his face. And Joe Lindsay didn't say, I don't need to go to the replay review. That's a technical foul. Any guy in blue can shoot the free throws, and Carey has a seat.
Dead ball contact, technical foul. So Stephen Pearl has a choice, just losing your discipline. He was frustrated in that possession because Keyshawn Hall was banging on him the entire possession, never got the call his way, but you cannot fire a fastball at someone's head. And to Joe's point, there's no reason to even look at the monitors. Very clearly, mistake by Jalen Carey. You just give away points right now, Ravi, in a close game can come back to haunt you.
About an 87-88% free throw shooter is Overton. And as he knocks those two down, the lead will grow back to 8.
Wouldn't it be crazy if that play is actually the one that gets Auburn into the NCAA tournament? If it comes down to 1 or 2 point game and you look back on it.
So Dwayne Brown into the game with Ament, Gillespie, Akpara, and Boswell. It's a smaller lineup with Estrella and Carey out.
Tennessee only 25% on the offensive glass today. That might be their season low within a game right now.
Pettiford throws an alley-oop to Nate Ament. That's the wrong colored jersey. He was the only one there looking at it. Yep, that was a grab. Sure was right in front of us and right in front of Vladimir Voyard Tadal.
But Ravi White, look at Stephen Pearl telling Overton, think. I mean, you got him in a short clock at 14. Tennessee has nothing working offensively, and you grab Gillespie working off of an off-ball screen. You just got to know, man, Gillespie's going to be right here, and he just gets grabbed in a short clock, and you bail Tennessee out and give him a new 20 to work with.
Overton's got 3 fouls. Tennessee was used to Dalton Connect and Chaz Lanier, offensive firepowers, as Brown is going to get called, and he'll go to the line to shoot too. They don't have that guy, Jimmy, that instant offense kind of microwave scorer this season. But they have fought their way into a 21-10 record. Baseball triple dip for your Saturday night, talking about fastballs. How about a top 5 showdown between Mississippi State and the Hogs? Dave Van Horn still looking for that first College World Series title. Tennessee, minus, of course, the man that now leads the San Francisco Giants, Tony Vitello. So Josh Elander is there. And then the nightcap, LSU and Vanderbilt right here in Nashville.
It's going to be such a big deal this time of the year to stay healthy. Thinking about Florida right now, they are healthy, playing like one of the best 2 teams in the country. Duke's got a key injury to Caleb Foster. Texas Tech without Toppin. Carolina without Caleb Wilson. Just stay healthy.
That body. Sebastian Williams-Adams went up for a dunk. He was blocked by Brown and still finished the play.
Man, does he play hard for a true freshman. I talked about he's their best defender as a first-year guy, but not afraid of the moment.
As close to a must-win game for Auburn as you can get right here. Boswell, high arcing 3. That's off, and then it looked like it went off the hands of Dwayne Brown, but the officials say no. It's going to stay with Tennessee. Stephen Pearl says he wants to look at it.
Yeah, it didn't.
I thought it went off Dwayne Brown.
Yeah, it didn't go off a Hall. And players know, and there's got to be a lot of trust between player and coach. Those timeouts are so valuable, but Keyshawn Hall knew that he did not touch that ball.
And in this case, our video coordinator for the Auburn Tigers right away stood up and said, no, that is off of Dwayne Brown. We're in Music City, and this one is right off the fingertips of Dwayne Brown. Little headbanging hard rock type game, 45-37. The Auburn Tigers, they got a lead over the Volunteers at Tennessee. And here in the background, successful challenge. It'll be Auburn basketball. Boy, that's an enticing game tomorrow, isn't it? Florida and Kentucky will tip things off at 1 Eastern time on ESPN. Later tonight, A&M and Oklahoma. Porter Mosier's team trying to fight their way back into this bracket conversation. Follow Joe Lunardi, ESPN Bracketology. This is a massive game for Auburn. We've already seen Missouri lose. Texas is lost. They're going home.
Ken Palm has the SEC this year, again ranked the #1 conference in the country. The league that produced 14 bids last year and the eventual national champion, Florida.
How about that defense being played by Gillespie against Pettiford? That one doesn't find the bottom. Loose ball. It's going to be picked up by Evans. They get 4 on 2. And Evans throws one off in traffic. It's tipped back up and in by Dwayne Brown, the freshman.
There's that offensive rebounding percentage that Tennessee can drag into the game at any moment.
They average about 17.5 second chance points. Today they have 4, Tennessee.
And Rick Barnes going with Jacoby Gillespie on Pettiford. The #1 question you ask as a staff when you start a scouting report is who guards who. And right now it's Gillespie on Pettiford.
Pettiford found a lane, and that's going to be on Estrella. Third foul on JP Estrella. Well, we pride ourselves in our insiders, whether it's Passon or Schefter. This time of year, there's nobody who gets more attention paid to them than that guy, Joe Lunardi. And you can see the SEC bid projections that go all the way down to Texas. Currently, the last 4 in, and Auburn can creep in, and Oklahoma with a bunch more wins. What, 2 more wins?
Probably 2.
They're on the page now.
Yep. Ravi, I'm not so sure that Auburn's resume isn't good enough right now. And Joe Lunardi said as late as yesterday, Auburn could lose today and probably still be in. And man, they can eliminate all doubt. When you look at their strength of schedule and the quality of wins they have compared to other teams on that cut line, a lot of things favor Stephen Pearl's team in his first year.
There it is, the strength of schedule ranked 4. Evans off of a very big game. They threw that one right up against the bottom of the rim. He got trapped underneath. Marshall steps into one. That line drive cannot find the bottom.
I just don't think that's the shot that Stephen Pearl wanted. Marshall's not out there as a shooter. Out there as a tough ball handler and defender.
To Gillespie. Yep. They're doing a heck of a job of a defensive glass to keep guys like Estrella off the window. So the size of Ament and Akpara and Carey get set to check back in. Look out, collision at the rim, out of bounds. Dwayne Brown's had a couple of good defensive plays.
Just a massive big body in that first-year player, Brown, to work with, and does a good job. Tennessee have been a lot of their practices. They do a ton of shell drill. They do a ton of verticality in terms of protecting that rim. They got the front line to do damage in that NCAA tournament. But they've got to have offense out of Nate Ament and Gillespie.
Ament's sitting there with 10 points. That ball deflected on the inbounds. And a nice drive there by Hall. He went right up and attacked Ament.
Ament kind of bailed out at the end a little bit to maybe protect himself from foul trouble. And Auburn just continues to keep Tennessee at arm's length. Now back up to 10. A zone look for Auburn.
That's going to be a kick. Barnes didn't like that pass attempt from Boswell, trying to get it through the legs of the Auburn Tigers. A little anxiety right now on the face of the Tennessee Volunteer fans. They find themselves sitting there 10 points down. We're in Nashville, man. It is gritty. You're trying to make it. You don't have any chance to fake it. You're looking to climb charts here. You're looking to stay alive in the SEC tournament. We're diving, we're getting dirty. The nitty gritty of Nashville and the SEC tournament.
Show what you got.
Well, the SEC season awards are in. Darius Acuff, Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, one of the only 3 to ever do it in this league. Dalen Swain was a newcomer. He's already headed home. Ruben Chinula, what more do you want? Defensive Player of the Year in the league. I think he is nationally as well. Irvin Clavshar got the vote as the 6th man of the year. He has been such a key guy for Todd Golden off the bench all year long. And Todd Golden comes in and wins the Coach of the Year, deservingly so. You can make an argument for Bucky McMillan as well. I think Sean Miller was good in his first year. Dennis Gates, but Todd Golden more than deserving to take home that hardwood.
Yeah, wide open Gillespie. Can't get that 3 to go. He is in a 3-point shooting slump. Ament. He worked his way right into a block shot by Williams-Adams. He hesitated a little bit, and that allowed 33 and blue to defend. Akpara, that's a tie-up, and that's going to be Tennessee basketball.
Now, where's the offense come for Tennessee? They have been stuck throughout the year at times, and right now is not the time to be stuck. And Gillespie's normally the guy that can get downhill and make a play. Nate Ament, but more importantly, their offensive rebounding has got to be drug into this game. If Auburn's going to play zone, man, just get a good shot up and let your 45% offensive rebound rate come into play.
Guys, that's exactly what Stephen Pearl was telling his team in that last Auburn timeout. He said they have 6 offensive rebounds right now. They only had 4 in the first half. Keep crashing the glass and keep them off it.
Ament. Oh, he's blocked. He goes down. Let's hope he's okay. And it looks like he is going to get right back up. Good challenge there from Nate Ament.
Yeah, no doubt. But Nate Ament gets himself to the free throw line off of an offensive rebound. To Alyssa's report, Stephen Pearl knows it's one thing to send the message to your guys in the hotel and the pregame locker room. It's another thing to remind them the entire game, because this is the best offensive rebound team in the country, Tennessee. And Nate Ament, one of the most fallible guys in college ball, especially in the freshman class, getting there just over 7 times a game in conference play.
He's one of 6 freshmen with at least 200 free throw attempts.
In the recruiting process, Rick Barnes goes a little bit old school and actually showed him a scene from a movie, The Notebook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And a big line in that movie was, "What do you want?" And he showed him the clip, and then they talked about it.
Softer side of Rick Barnes going with
Yeah, there was a little bit of
The hierarchy one off the window goes, and Pettiford now has 25 in the game.
There has been no soft side from Taha Pettiford today. This is a guy that went to the Final Four last year. Talked about in the first game. You got to have guards to understand how to win in March.
There you go. Amen's going to have a chance for 3, and a similar play to the first play we saw, Jimmy, when this game began. Amen was wide open, uncontested underneath.
Yeah, that volunteer fan base finally says, "Can I get an amen?" And Nate Amen is such a versatile guy. He gets to that logo, and from there, it's just clean money. Has developed the physicality of the last couple of months, taking hits, finishing plays. He has absolutely not fought back against Rick Barnes one time this year.
Jovic comes out. Jimmy, Stephen Pearl has a couple of questions about what happened defensively that allowed Amen to be wide open underneath. Knocks down another free throw. Nate Amen starting to climb here with 15 points.
The answer was, Coach, the guy that caught the ball is a future lottery pick. That's mainly what happened. Stephen Pearl, 1 win away, and he's got to beat his alma mater, Tennessee, in his first year as a head coach. How big would that be?
His alma mater, of course, where his dad, Bruce, coached. And what Bruce did with Auburn just took that program and it exploded. A little foot drag there. The Tennessee crowd thought that should have been a travel. It ended up being an air ball. Nate Amen feeling it a little bit now. He's got one-on-one with Pettiford. Shoot over him all day long. A foul. He'll go to the free throw line and shoot 2 more.
Ravi, early in that possession, Jacoby Gillespie took his guy, Pettiford, and ran at Nate Amen and forced the switch. It happened in the flow of the conversion offense. But, man, simple, smart, good action by Gillespie to get the switch onto Nate Amen and then let the 6'11" frame take over.
Fairly or unfairly, with Rick Barnes' history with Texas and a particular player named Kevin Durant, when you have a guy like Amen who is 6'10" and shoots from such a high release point, there are going to be inevitable comparisons, again, fair or unfair, to a guy like Durant. You think he's 2-3 years away from fully blossoming?
Yeah, or maybe 4. But when he blossoms, it's going to be a bouquet, not just one flower.
Volunteer Nation on his feet here. Amen's got the last 7 for Tennessee.
A lot of dribbling by Pettiford. Don't foul.
Pettiford's got 2 seconds. Boswell, there's no whistle at all, and that's a shot clock violation. A lot of folks, including Stephen Pearl, were wondering, like, where's the whistle? And there wasn't one.
Well, that was Tennessee's defense at its best. They just completely smothered all the action. They never opened up their hips. They stayed in front of the ball. Boswell almost reached in and got one, but big defensive stop for Tennessee defense year after year under Rick Barnes, top 10 in the country.
Amen. That's way short. He will follow it, and he'll keep it alive as he goes into the stands in the first row. Now back on the floor. And Boswell gets it to him, and he will launch again and knock it down with an assist from the photographers in the first row. Ament is on a roll of his own. A 10-2 run for Tennessee, and all those points from Nate Ament. Overton can't quiet everybody into the hands of Carey. And a chance for Tennessee to grab a lead with a 3 or tie with a 2.
4 or 5 times a game, Nate Ament will show you why he's a projected lottery pick. And that last possession was one of them. He might do it again here.
He wants to, he spins, lays it up. Oh, he had an easy layup, and he was too strong. The alley-oop. Wow, what a block! Felix Okpara. Gillespie, contact, no call, but a 2 to tie it. What a play by Gillespie.
Felix Okpara moved to the United States when he was 14 years old and learned the game of basketball. Nate Amento falls into the photog section, keeps the ball alive, and then finds himself back in that corner to make a play. That is a beautiful release and rotation from Nate Amento, a guy that has developed into a lottery pick before our eyes this year. And Felix Okpara didn't start playing the game until he moved to the United States as a 14-year-old kid. Didn't even know the rules, but he understands heart and toughness and length. Tennessee with a massive pushback right now. We're all tied with 7:31 to go.
Back in here in Nashville, we've got a tie ball game, 51 apiece, thanks to a huge run by Nate Amento and the Tennessee Volunteers diving out of bounds to save the basketball. Then he gets it back and he drains the three. The energy in that last Tennessee timeout, totally different than it was in the first half. Everybody giving the freshman high fives, but he's still frustrated with the missed layups. He said, man, I got to make a freaking layup. So despite having 20 points so far, still critiquing himself. By the way, guys, Rick Barnes telling his guys, if they stay in zone, get to the ball to the center and flatten out. But really happy with what he's seen from his guys so far.
Yeah, flatten out that zone, get a good shot up, and get on that offensive glass.
Yeah, Hall got Okpara off his feet. Okpara stayed there, and he deflected it to Carey.
Ravi, the first 28 minutes of the game, Tennessee only had 2 second-chance points.
Yeah.
They have had 7 in the last 4.5 minutes.
Well, we ripped the Band-Aid off the minute restriction because Nate Amento sat out for about 20 seconds, and now he's back at the scorer's table to come back in. A 10-0 run over the last 3 minutes, a 12-2 run over the last 3:30 for the Volunteers. 3 seconds. Boswell has to shoot it. And that drew nothing, so Auburn's got to run out. Freeman throws it up. No, the Division II transfer tries to keep it alive. Boswell. Evans. All the way. There's a foul. Joe Lindsay will call it on 7, Keyshawn Hall.
That was a big deal by Gillespie to defend without fouling down there. He's logged a ton of minutes. Gillespie with 2 fouls. Hasn't picked up the 3rd yet. Just battling his tail off.
That's why Rick Barnes was willing to go back to him in the first half with 2 fouls that he got early. He still has 2 in the game. Last lead for Tennessee, Jimmy, was 7-6. It's been an uphill battle for the Volunteers nearly the entire game. And Evans' free throw gives them their first lead since 7-6. One more quick check of Joe Lenardi's bracketology. Texas, the last 4 in team that's already going home. Auburn on that dreaded first 4 out top line with Oklahoma on the bottom of that category. And Oklahoma will play again tonight.
Well, different projections also have Auburn in different slots regardless. Most important 622 of Stephen Pearl's career is right now.
Another pass at the feet of Keyshawn Murphy and a turnover. 9th of the game. The momentum is Tennessee's right now, and another basket will send this place again off its hinges. Carey strong, too strong.
Remember in the first half I said he's one of the best offensive rebounders, 17%. He gets his misses at a high level. Man, a ton of work below the rim from Jalen Carey.
Pettiford dribbles through 2, and then Gillespie picked his pocket. Coast to coast, up and in. Stephen Pearl is at midcourt trying to encourage his Tigers, who are taking a hit right now. Jalen Carey and the Volunteers. Gillespie, Ament, they got themselves a 5-point lead.
And what does Tennessee do? They hammer the ball inside, and they don't rent the inside of the floor. They own it. And Jalen Carey right here is not the first one. It's the second one you got to be concerned with, not just with Carey, but with this Tennessee team overall. And, man, the hot hands of Gillespie. He's been so good the last month at getting steals from behind the play. Just an electric, dynamic guy in the open floor. And a big surge by GBO at the right time.
Jimmy, a 15-0 run. Auburn yesterday, remember, they had a 21-2 run of their own.
Well, can you stay in front of Pettiford right now is the primary concern for this Tennessee defense.
Murphy downhill. Okpara got up, and he had a chance to go at him, and he threw it back out to Pettiford. Corner three, Hall. That one may have been deflected. It was by Amari Evans.
What a play by Amari Evans, who has earned the trust of Rick Barnes as a defender. It is so difficult to get to a backside three like that, and Amari Evans just did it.
Defense has turned this game around for Tennessee. They have caused Auburn to miss their last 7 shots in a row. Ament wants it against Murphy. Spin move. He got fouled on the arm, and 2 more free throws for Nate Ament.
That's what a pro can do. 6'11", trusts his ability to handle that rock, get low with it, get himself to the free throw line. Look at Amari Evans, man. He comes from the painted area and gets out to that basketball. Keyshawn Hall has a high release. It's not easy to get to his ball, and Amari Evans does it as well as you can.
So I was talking to Coach Barnes yesterday. I said, will any of your alumni be here in Nashville? He said, I'm not sure, but plenty of them talked to the team. Zakai Ziegler has Zoomed with this team multiple times so far this season. Barnes said that he reminded this group that this is the most important time of the year. This is the time that you want back. He said Dalton Connect even called him and said, hey, Coach, you want me to come back? Barnes said, I don't think I can afford you. Dalton said, I'll pay you to let me come back. Plenty of Vols, I'm sure, watching this one today, missing their time wearing the orange uniform, but instilling that memory in these guys.
It's such a great point and such a valid sort of sentiment from Dalton Connect. It's like when you go to high school and you rush to college. Like, well, I loved high school.
Yeah.
I loved college. Now I'm in the NBA. I'll come back. I'll pay you to bring me back.
Well, those former players like what they're seeing on this 17-0 scoring run. Think about the consistency under Rick Barnes. Tennessee, Alabama, and Houston. The only 3 teams in the country to make each of the past 3 Sweet 16. They're actually back-to-back Elite 8, Tennessee.
Jimmy, Auburn hasn't scored in 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's what Tennessee's defense can do to you, man. They can just clamp you down. Load up.
Here's the alley-oop to Okpara.
You can see it coming. Okpara is so good out of that dunker spot. Just throw it up. Let the big guy eat.
His numbers will tell you he has not had a massive game, but Felix Okpara has had a massive influence. And as a result, Stephen Pearl's just picked up a technical foul.
The pressure starting to get to Auburn. Not unraveling, but certainly on the verge of breaking apart if they don't regroup right now. Felix Okpara with as good of a block a couple of minutes ago that you'll see in the college game the entire month of March. And he just knows how to sit in that dunker spot. Trust the offense to find me. Okpara out of the dunker spot. Trusting the offense, Jalen Carey. Big body guy, man, with a finesse pass. We take it for granted. It's not easy to pull off. Well done.
Jimmy, you know what time it is? Time to look at today's extra effort. It's brought to you by Regions Bank.
When defense is your oxygen, and that's what it is for Tennessee. Man, it comes up big on the big moments, especially in March. In Tennessee, they have protected that rim at half court. And in transition, Amari Evans flies out of the shooter. We talk about teams that can get hot offensively. Tennessee is one of the few teams in the country that can get hot defensively, and they have done that over the last 4 or 5 minutes in this ball game.
Felix Okpara, when he's on the floor, has been an absolute difference maker. At one point, he was a plus 10. He's now a plus 19. Felix Okpara. For a guy, Jimmy, that has 6 points, he's a plus 19.
And again, Felix Okpara had never played a basketball game before his journey to the United States began. 14-year-old, they put him on a plane from Nigeria and ends up with a host family in Chattanooga. And eventually that host family, Rabbi, adopted his brother and sister, both also went on to play college ball. So those guys have a grateful spirit about them. And Felix Okpara is one of Chingalu, Oscar Shibwe. Those guys, they get an opportunity in life given to them, and man, do they grab it and make the most of it.
Amen's first free throw miss. He had been 8 of 8 this half. He's now 8 of 9. Remember, he had 12 free throws in the first meeting on his way to 22 points. He's got 23 points now, and he's made 8 free throws. Oh, there you go, an answer from Pettiford.
Good
quiet lately.
A couple of times now, Stephen Pearl, after a timeout, has gotten Pettiford on a sprint to the ball and quickly into a rise and fire 3.
Boswell sees the lane, then he pulls it back. Amen, one-on-one with Pettiford. Tried to chest him up, and he did a good job. And there's a bad pass. And now Tennessee's got numbers.
And to change the possession, so they have time.
Amen steps into a 3 with a man in his face, and he drained it.
That may have been a dagger from Nate Amen. So some dudes are just wired different, and Nate Amen is one of those dudes.
26 in the game for Amen. A 10-point Tennessee lead. All part of a 23-3 run.
No call, no foul. Tried to sell it, and it didn't go their way.
Pettiford, he's got Okpara on him. He's dancing with that basketball. Murphy. Yeah, difficult shot. Good fadeaway over Okpara. And a little wet spot on the floor. You saw Pettiford slip.
Well, and Stephen Pearl called it to their attention, so he doesn't have to use a timeout to get a pause in the action. Talking to his team right now, getting his defensive pressure set. Just the small things inside of a game. And Nate Amen just casually rises early in the shot clock, 25 on the release.
Gillespie nearly lost it.
They've been a little loose with the ball at times, trying to close out games, talking about Tennessee. Amen's calling for it, but he's being fronted right there at the top of the key.
Gillespie to carry. He goes in traffic and got hacked from behind. And they will call that on Kevin Overton. Kevin Overton's 4th. He's got 9 points today after a 22-point breakout game against Mississippi State last night.
That'd be Jalen Carey, just a 50% free throw shooter in conference play. So at times it can be a little bit of a gamble to keep him in the game, and Rick Barnes has even talked about down the stretch in close games, I got to be careful with my play calls and make sure my best free throw shooters are in those play calls. Jalen Carey with a chance for 2 big ones right here.
One of the points that Stephen Pearl made, though, was our defense in the first half. We defended without fouling. They have shot in this half alone 17 free throws and made 14. Murphy eyes up Carey. Pettiford launches again. He goes down to the ground. Amen had it, lost it, and then he committed a foul and a chance for 3 for Keyshawn Hall.
Well, they didn't get the 3-point foul call, but do a good job of the traditional 3-point play possibly for Keyshawn Hall. We talked about in the first half, Stephen Pearl has spent the last 24 hours talking about if you don't want to rebound in this game, you don't want to win. And Keyshawn Hall secures that backside to keep the door open for Auburn.
That's a big three-point play. Amen for a second had that basketball in his hands on the defensive end. And now Estrella is going to come in to add more height to a front line with Okpara and Amen. And Carey is going to take a break, but he played very well.
Tennessee with 3 timeouts still to use, so if you get hung up.
Vladimir Voyard-Tadal saw something between Okpara and Murphy around half court. And both teams are going to be sent to their benches, but he was down on the baseline ready to hand that ball in. And he clearly saw Okpara and Murphy getting into it and said immediately, let's look.
Previous players under review.
Obviously looking for some type of dead ball, technical foul. Ball had not been put in play yet. Tennessee with a lead regardless of who initiates it. If you're Okpara, you've got to walk away. And that's completely unnecessary to walk right into the guy's head like it looks like Okpara did initially, then the shove back, and this will be reviewed. Could be a dead ball contact technical foul maybe on Okpara.
After review, we have a dead ball, double contact technical foul. On 34 white and 3 blue, they will offset and we will resume play.
Well, Okpara got bailed out because had he not been shoved, it would have been a dead ball contact foul on Felix Okpara, a major call in this game, but they are offsetting. I mean, just ignore it. Just right here, just walk on past. You've got the lead, and luckily the retaliation offsets it.
The retaliation is likely what led Vladimir to see it.
Yes.
But unnecessary by 34 White, who otherwise has been having a spectacular game. As you said, bailed out. So with 94 seconds, Tennessee's up 65-59 and inbounding. And Auburn pressure.
That's behind right here. Auburn's so good with those
Amen plays. Watch it. Up and no, can't get it to go, but 2 more free throws from a magnet when it comes to attracting contact. Nate Amen.
I love the play by Nate Amen. Instead of holding the ball and backing it out, he stays aggressive, knowing at worst, I'm going to get myself to that free throw line where I've made over 100 in conference play at 80%.
Nate Amen today missed that free throw, but he has made 8 of them. And as a result of making 8 of them, he has moved into 10th place in the single season, passing Ernie Grunfeld, which is a pretty historic name when it comes to Tennessee and basketball. Missed them both, and the rebound goes to Auburn.
2 huge misses, obviously.
Pettiford had it nearly picked from behind by Gillespie, and he's asking Williams, Adams, help me out there. I can't see. I don't have eyes in the back of my head.
Stephen Pearl has play called to Hot Pettiford in these situations. 0 in blue is the guy. He may not be the initial touch, but it'll be some type of action I would expect with Pettiford.
Ball tries to back down Amen. There he is, Pettiford, corner 3. No good, in traffic carry, and it's Amen who's missed his last 3 free throws. He will go to the line to shoot some more.
So now what is Nate Amen thinking? If he's the tough, competitive dude that I think he is, he's walking 94 feet thinking you just fouled the wrong guy. You cannot live in the past. Just missed the last 2, but Rick Barnes has spent a ton of time with him, Ravi. Initially when he got to Knoxville, he was an arm shooter, meaning he did not drop his rear end and use his legs as much as he needs to into his shot. Very important right now with the number of minutes that he's played to be a leg shooter on these free throws. There it is.
Coach Barnes not afraid to take some credit for improving a guy's shot either.
The shot whisperer, as he likes to be called in Knoxville.
Last year after Meshack made a big 3, he looked over at us from his bench, pointed to himself like, see, I did that.
Thumbs up to me. 1 out of his last 4 now. He's only made
7-point lead. Hall all the way. Parra there to try to defend, but he kisses it off the window. 5-point game, under a minute. Second great game that we have had here in Nashville to start today.
Well, Auburn doing exactly what they have to do. They're extending this game, getting their press set hot, and as soon as it comes in, they're coming with contact. And now Gillespie, it's his turn, right at 79% in conference play from the free throw line.
Jimmy, this is going to be a really big discussion. It may be the focal point of Selection Sunday. The Auburn Tigers. They may generate the most conversation as to whether they should be in or out.
Their strength of schedule and their quality of wins, I think, is going to have them in, but man, they will be on the edge of their seats and anxious for sure.
A win would change the entire narrative. We got under a minute to go.
If you're Tennessee, you stay on the floor right now and do not even gamble.
Hediford throws it up with his right, no good. Akpara had it ripped away, and that's going to be a foul on Felix Akpara. Tremendous hustle by Auburn on the loose balls as they continue. We saw Ahmed have his pocket picked, and there Akpara did as well. 38-minute rank, that strength of schedule that you talked about.
I mean, we've had teams get an at-large bid with 15 losses.
Yes.
This would be the 16th for Auburn, so there are some things also just historically maybe working against them. And Stephen Pearl was handed the reins of this thing the day before practice began. There's the team just out of this league that got in with 15 losses, and he inherited that's all of them. They just happen to all be out of the SEC.
Yes, just a coincidence. Boswell goes to the line. A 6-point lead, 2-possession game, 36.5 to go. Bishop Boswell has a chance to put this thing to a 3-possession game. Boswell has not scored today. He has not taken a free throw. He's 0 of 5 from the floor. But he calmly knocks down that free throw.
Yeah, he's just a 66% shooter, but you hear me talk about it a lot. I like tough guys, man, competitive guys on that line, regardless of their percentage. And I do think Boswell is a really tough kid.
Tennessee's outscored him in the second half, 45-30 by 15 points. Paul, no good. And it's Ahmed who has it. Yep, Hediford's going to get called for the foul on Jacoby Gillespie. And Tennessee looks like they're going to hold off the Auburn Tigers and put them into one of those brutal positions until Sunday to find out whether they're going to make the NCAA tournament field.
Well, you fall back on your culture and your character in March, and we all know Tennessee basketball. It's about defensive and toughness and fighting your backside off, and their defensive performance in this second half has advanced them now to the Friday round.
Nate Ahmed gets a loud hand from those wearing orange as he will exit having played 32 minutes, 27 points, 9 of 13 from the free throw strike.
Yeah, clearly he was on a 33-minute restriction today by Rick Barnes. Nate Ahmed is he's a 5-star talent and a 10-star kid. That is a big play in this game, not only for Tennessee, but for Nate Ahmed. From that point on, he just took the game over and started fighting at a high level. Rick Barnes trusted him with a ball in his hand. The transition three that we said at the time was a dagger, and it ends up being it. He did not look for a reason to not play today. He was fighting for reasons to play. We've seen guys across the country take the other exit ramp. Not Nate Ahmed.
He doesn't see an exit ramp.
No, he does not.
17 points in the second half, 27 in the game. And if nothing else, too, Jimmy, did he star in this one? He now believes that his leg is okay. I mean, he's been getting treatment 3 times a day, doing everything he possibly can to get back on the court. The highlight of this game you're going to take away is the Akpara block on the alley-oop. The Tennessee Volunteers live to play another day with a 47-30 second half as they outscore Auburn and win at 72-62. They close the game on a 31-11 run.
Ravi, habits and culture, they are magnified in the month of March. Tennessee did not have any agenda possessions. They stayed together. Their culture eventually wore through in the second half.
Tahad Pettyford in a losing effort, 28 points. But now it is the dreaded wait-and-see game for these Auburn Tigers, who with a win would have assured themselves, it feels like, of getting into the tournament. There's still now some uncertainty.
Bruce Pearl told Stephen Pearl about a month ago, if you advance and get in the NCAA tournament, you will be praised, and rightfully so. If you do not, it's just part of the big chair at Auburn. The standard is high. The criticism will come. I think Auburn is still going to back their way in because of their 4 or 5 better wins than everybody else on that cut line.
An very under 500 record in conference at 7-11. Nate Amens with Alyssa.
Nate, huge game for you. How's the leg feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good.
The stat line would show that. I want to go back to halftime. What did Coach Barnes challenge you guys at the break when you were down against this Auburn team?
I mean, we just got to be tougher. I mean, it's kind of been the story with this group, with our group for a little bit. We're inconsistent in between halves, so for us, it's just trying to find that consistency. I mean, we know we're going to wear on every team that, we play just because we practice so hard. So for us, just stay the course and just do what we do and do our jobs.
I know you haven't been able to watch it back yet, but when you dive into the photographers to save that ball, come back in bounds, and then nail that three-pointer, what's going through your mind in a play like that?
I mean, I missed the first one. I knew Coach Barnes wasn't going to be happy about it. I was so wide open on the second one. I was like, I got to shoot it. So I'm just got to knock it down. I'm glad I can celebrate with my teammates.
We saw Tennessee defense come out down the stretch. When you watched Felix block that shot, what was going through your mind?
Man, I mean, it's so comforting knowing I got something like that on my back line. All of us, we can pressure the ball just because we know that he's back there and he can, help us at the rim.
Well, Nate, I'm going to let you go. You're going to head up to the studio set. And before you do that, I want to give you just a heads up. You know your guy, Ron Slay, Tennessee Volunteer.
Yeah.
He says, of course, he talks so much smack behind the scenes about Tennessee, and you always back it up for him. So just make sure he gives you what he owes you when you get up there.
Absolutely. My guy, Ron Slay.
Nate Amens, ladies and gentlemen, he and his head coach are going to be joining you boys up on the studio set. Ravi, we'll send it back over to you.
All right, Alyssa, terrific job. Thank you very much. Ament was outstanding. Jimmy, a final thought on the 10-point win as you take a look at the bracket. Florida, Kentucky, Vandy, Tennessee.
Well, we got what we got, and Kentucky's built to give Florida a heck of a ball game tomorrow. And, man, just think about last Saturday. Vanderbilt won at Tennessee. A lot of fight and fury going to go on in that game.
Yeah, a lot of fight and fury from Tennessee in the second half today. They outscored them 47-30. They ended up making 21 of 27 free throws in the second half. Defense, dogged determination. The Vols and Vandy in Nashville tomorrow. SEC now with Peter Burns, Pat Bradley, Slay, and Damian Fishback.
Gentlemen, tomorrow we're going to have, right in the morning session, we're going to have Florida and Kentucky and Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Does it get any better than that in Music City? Hall of Famer Coach Rick Barnes joining us here. We're going to have another guy that may be a Hall of Famer down the road, Nate Amens, joining us here in a couple of moments. And, Coach, congratulations on that victory. 20-0 run. What all of a sudden kind of sparked that run for the Vols here?
Well, first of all, is pink the color?
It's good. It's good. Yes, sir.
Did y'all call each other? Is that a mandate from Sankey?
It's Thursday. By the way, we can't hardly hear you because all the Vol fans just saying it because the Star showed up here.
Well, obviously, just a great deal of respect for Auburn. I mean, they're so well coached. Stephen really has done a good job with his team, and but our defense, we finally, I thought, got our stride on defense, and then offensively, we also got in. He hasn't been with us very much, and as the game went on, he got better and better.
Coach, I've seen you over the last few years with Dalton Connect and Chaz Lanier. You take these guys and give them that confidence that you're going to be our leader offensively. What was the process with Nate doing that? And are you happy with where he is now?
Well, we beat him up every day. We had any kind of defense you could throw at him, we try to throw at him all through the summer. And the ironic thing, I don't know if he ever missed many reps. He took it all the time. He tells me he would come back to school, but I'd let him pick his days to practice. But I mean, he's been great all year. I've said all year, and I'll say it again. I think he's got a great whistle all year, and but he never complained about it. I complained about it, and but our defense today sparked us. It really got us going today.
Yep. Coach, in some of those hustle plays down the stretch, maybe a loose ball turnover, long rebound, and guys sprinting back to get blocked shots. How big was the one that Nate missed the layup, and we would have never seen that outstanding block by Felix Okpara on the lob? Talk about Felix and how he protects that rim.
First of all, he should make the layup.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was going, Coach. That's what I was going first. That's a young fella. Yeah, you got to know that.
But, Felix makes those plays. I mean, the one thing that's hurt him this year, because so many teams in the league spread it out, he's the one guy that can guard anybody on the floor, so it's taken a little bit of our rim protection away inside. But Felix has been terrific in the last 2.5 weeks of the season, just doing the things that he's done for us since he's been here. And but that was just an incredible play on his part.
Nate, this guy to our left can't stop bragging about you. And I think you have the best upside of any freshman in college basketball. But I'd like to know your thoughts on Coach Rick Barnes, how he's cultivated and cultured you since you've been to Tennessee.
I mean, it's not been easy for sure. He told me that when I committed. And that's another reason why I committed, because, he's been through it so many times. But I feel like if you really want to get to where you want to get to, you got to go through the fire. And he puts me through the fire every day. And there's just so much I've learned from him. Like coming in before I came here, my game's completely changed. And that's, a lot of credit to him and also our strength coach G and all the assistant coaches. So there is no Nate Amen without Coach Barnes.
Oh, can't say it better than that.
And there's no Tennessee Volunteer basketball right now without Nate Amen and this whole team right now. I do want to go to a moment because you guys were down 10 all of a sudden. A great play to tie it up. And I'm questioning, who was more excited? The fans, you, or this guy on set, whenever they tied up? We'll show you this video right here. This was monstrous layup, and we may have been rolling on the camera when Jacoby Gillespie had it.
I can only imagine what that boom was like.
He is to see it, and he was sitting there enjoying it. What do you make of that and just this crowd? Because, listen, Kentucky takes over a lot of buildings, guys, and it was loud. It may have been louder today, Nate, with this volunteer crew that came up to watch you play a lot of minutes and you deliver.
I mean, it means so much. They've been with us through the ups and downs. They deserve wins from us. So for us, it's just kind of being in that mindset. We got to do it for our fans who travel here to come see us. And, there's so many young people in the crowd. We just want to be, a positive influence to all these people, but also just like playing for these fans, playing for our team, playing for our coaches. Tennessee is, such a unique university, and I don't think there's any other university like in the country.
Coach, are you kidding me? Does he leave dirty dishes around or something like that? Like this guy is out on Central Casted right now.
Well, first of all, I think when we started recruiting him, I don't even think he had any of this.
That's new, Coach. It looks good.
Okay.
What's that chocolate milk?
I think right now I'm going to announce he's going to be governor of Tennessee.
As long as you're my running mate.
Yeah. I just want security detail.
Real quick. In order to do that, you also got to win the Nashville vote, and that's Vanderbilt coming in, and we know how that played out last time. What's going to be something you want to focus on the difference in this one?
We got to play a whole lot better. Yeah. Obviously, we weren't good from the beginning. They got off to a 15-2 start and really controlled the game, and Vandy's had a great year. Mark's done a great job with his team. Tyler Tanner, maybe the most improved player in the league from a year ago to today. And we have great respect for him, and we know we're going to have to play good basketball or we won't get it done.
And this guy's actually coming to the game.
Listen, hey, dog, baby.
He's coming to the game.
No minutes restrictions, right? He looked okay tonight.
Did we have him today?
Minutes restrictions?
Yeah. I left it up to him. I kept saying you good.
You got him today.
Smart coach.
He wasn't good. He was great. Congratulations on the victory and surviving and advancing here in Nashville. Sets up a fantastic day coming up tomorrow. We got even more hoops going to be coming up later tonight as we got A&M and Oklahoma. The Sooners are red hot. Georgia and Mike White, he's done a great job. They're taking on Ole Miss, who had that upset yesterday. And my goodness, Vandy, Tennessee tomorrow with the little breakfast brunch. Part of Florida and Kentucky. This quarterfinals Friday has been locked in. It does not get much better than when the stars arrive and they deliver. Nate Amen was able to do that. 27-8 for the Volunteers, and Big Blue Nation started the day. Denzel Aberdeen, big buckets. looking forward to Dari Nova coming in here. I'm going to be resting and relaxing right now.
We
Slate,
see
get
that.
some water.
Come on back.
The closer's coming in. What a great way to kick off day 2 of the SEC Hoops Tournament.